Okay, hi Francesco. Can you walk us through your path from researcher into Bitcoin security and founding BitVault?
I Yes, I mean I've been in this space for a few years, and then I clearly saw that there was a gap in the user experience of self-custody because there were a lot of risks like physical attacks, hacks, loss of the keys, and my interests converged into trying to solve this problem. Also, because like all of the users, came across lots of scams, lots of risks. So, and they care about self-custody, so I really wanted to find a way to make it at least at the bank level where people think nothing can happen. Well, first place, they don't have the money in the bank, but even if they think they have, then say nothing. Well, it's not the case for Bitcoin, so you can lose everything in 1 second. And it's not ideal. In my opinion, needed some time to think twice what they're doing. You needed some time to deter the attackers to even attempt to steal your funds. So the concept of time lock was missing in the wallet. Although strange because at the protocol level, time locks are enabled. And so I thought, why don't nobody uses it? And turned out that the only wallet was using it was Liana wallet, but Liana wallet used it just to recover one key or two, no, one key, just because even there, if you lose it all, the keys, you lose all the funds. So, and after many months of research and iteration, I start to see clearly that the solution to all of these problems have custody, physical attacks, hacks, loss of the keys, passed through time lock technology, and especially with so-called mini script, and started to apply and iterate and build the designs and come up with products and solutions. And well, BitVault is the first one, but we have many others already in the pipeline, already developed, designed, and then production soon, which solve a lot of problem. And yes, the path was from out of necessity because personally didn't want to incur any risks while self-custody my Bitcoin. I didn't want other people to incur any risks. And also from an ethical standpoint and for Bitcoin itself, it really needs upgrade. It really needs to stand out, and it should be at least at the banking level. And what do people expect, and also serve the people. I mean, if you are physical attack, you could die. If you are lose all your funds, you die secondly because you do stupid things. And yeah, so it's really needed, and pretty happy to come up with a solution.
So was there like a pivotal moment that you decided to make self-custody that it needed a fundamental upgrade? Obviously, with the cold card hack and how self-custody is seen now, it seems like there was a lot of issues with just holding in a normal wallet. Like, was there like a pivotal moment that you decided to get into that, or?
The pivotal moment was 2 years ago when I decided to go for this solution. And it wasn't called card back then. I was because of a personal attempt. What I thought they could have physically attacked me. Instead, that was just a software bug, and I think it was intentional. But yeah, I didn't fall for it. But meanwhile, while thinking, because I didn't understand what the scam was, because I couldn't imagine that there was a bug in this wallet they proposed to me. I didn't trust, but I thought, okay, this is impossible because it was on the iPhone. And back then, if it was on the iPhone, it was legit because we didn't see the like the now that everybody knows there is a Sparrow wallet, which is a scam on the iPhone. But back then they didn't know, and because everybody assumed that Apple was checking the quality of the app, which is not true. So that was a kind of that app. And but for me, in my mind, by being this labeled as impossible, I thought, okay, this person wants to make me move the funds there and then physically attack me and still because they know at the point they are there in this wallet and the meeting. And it was scary. I say, oh, come on, cannot be like this. Let's find a solution. Yeah, that's where I started thinking. It was 2024. Then I started the company and the idea and work on it 2024, and then 2025 we launched the company.
Yeah, those experiences where people try to scam or certain things, it can definitely be a wake-up call of how you need to secure your stack. And so you often emphasize that people shouldn't put blind trust in hardware wallet vendors. Why is that? And how does BitVault's design change the trust model?
Yes, so I didn't design the product. It was originally with the intention in my mind to solve the problem of the leaks of the private keys because of lack of entropy, because it was impossible to think about it. Say all of the wallet, there are standards, etc. But then it happened, and just find out with extreme pleasure that what I built, it solves the problem of trusting toward the wallets. It's because this is a mini script vault which has two paths of spending. One, the first one has a short time delay for protection, and the second one a longer time delay for a fallback to make it not custodial. So the short time delay, let's say, for the first part is 15 days or 2 hours, and the longer term is part is 1 year. So what happens is that in 1 year you can. The only thing you have to do as a user is just to follow the instruction in the app and refresh the TXO, which are older than 6 months. So you have one year from 6 months to 1 year. Then you do that, and you just roll over that expiration of the second part. This means that if the attacker has your own two keys and they wants to sign before 1 year, he can't because the protocol will not allow. But if you want to put the funds before him, you can, because you can sign with the first part with your own key, one of the two, A or B, plus a key which is in the collaborative custody, like BitVault, or you self-host it bound to the convenience service. Because the parts are A or B plus C plus 2x, and the second part is A plus B plus 1 year. So you always, as a result, have the priority as a user instead of the attacker. The attacker can only sign after you. And you don't have to trust toward the wallet. They can leak the entropy of both cold cards connected to BitVault, and nothing happens. You can still move the funds before the user. That's a beauty of it.
So is the way that it works is that it like so you make a transaction and then it restarts that time delay. So like you if your funds are at risk, you can like how does that work exactly?
Uh, it's the rolling over. The rolling over works that it's a product design, and the way to make it work is that once a year you need to refresh your TXO, and that restarts the countdown to another 1 year for the self-custodial part. It means that if BitVault goes out of business, or the device where you self-host your convenience service, you lose it. But you have just your own two keys, you can still spend. You bypass the convenience service. But time cannot be bypassed. So you will always need to wait for another year if you are malicious as an attacker. So it's a game theory solution applied to Miniscript brought as a product to the user.
Okay. So how does, let's see here. How does BitVault handle the tension between usability and security? Can everyday Bitcoiners actually set this up and live with time delays without it becoming a burden?
Um, I don't think that uh, refreshing the UTXO once a year when you receive a pop-up on your phone, it's a bar. It's a really limited. You have to do nothing. You just have to look at the phone once a year, and when the pop-up shows up to refresh your UTXO, then you just do it, and it's really smooth. And that's why we chose 1 year because, of course, you can set all of the time delay you want in theory in this mini script. But we think that 2 weeks is time long enough to not entice physical attackers to attack you because to kidnap you basically for 2 weeks, and kidnapping is another story. But even if they kidnap you, um, once they try to move the funds, there is a secret notification which goes to a trusted third party like your wife or you have set before, and so somebody start to look for you, and maybe they can find you before the 2 weeks pass. I think the 2 weeks is the right amount of time, which is both fungible as money and also useful as a security system. But yeah, we have also bespoke services for higher amounts, and people can reach out to us and have their configuration for businesses, treasury companies. There are so many things you can do with the miniscript. Not only this, also who can spend after a determined amount of time, preset amount of time, and it's a programmability. So to come up with the fetish solution, Bitcoin, we needed the program, the product to solve all of this issue and to be also convenient in other kind of framework like businesses, etc. But
So
definitely for security, yeah.
so you're basically saying if someone were to set up a wallet as a long-term savings and storage, that all they would have to do is make one transaction a year to keep that like storage completely like locked and make sure no one can take it out.
Yes,
That's awesome.
if you don't find 2 minutes in 1 year, I mean, probably you don't care about your funds. You know, if you,
Yeah, yeah.
it's
That's awesome,
okay.
man.
No,
So
thank you,
so
thank you.
is there like is it like two options? Is it like you choose between the 2 week or the year? Like how does it
No,
work?
you can choose from 2 hours to 2 weeks for the short-term delay for protection. So you can spend your funds intentionally. Just if you set to 1 week, 1 week is going to be, you cannot bypass anymore. Because at the wallet origination, you set this time delay, and that is going to be, unless you change your wallet, which you
So
can do. But
you
you
could
have still,
have one for like storage of funds for the long term, and then you could have one that's more for spending Bitcoin, and you can choose how long you want the delay.
you can have multiple vaults. In our app, you can have unlimited vaults, actually. So you can set one vault for 2 weeks and keep 2 Bitcoin, and you can have one vault with 2 hours and keep zero point 0.1. Or you can have just a spending wallet. We don't need the BitVault for that. It's, yeah, but then the 1 year time delay is on the second part, which is the fallback part. You normally don't use this. Uh, y- you need to use it when in emergency, in case of emergency, when BitVault disappears. You just use that because you bypass the whole system.
That's smart that you're thinking about like fallbacks for the users just in case, where like a lot of these hardware wallet companies, they don't really have focus on that as much. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and it doesn't make any sense also from their commercial proposition because you need two hardware wallets to use BitVault. So if they just did it, they would have sold more units by just and being useful to the user, but they didn't. So I mean, now we are compatible with the Jade Plus and Keystone, so you can use BitVault on the iPhone as a coordinator. It's an app, but then the private keys are generated into the hardware wallet, and you can pair it with Jade Plus or Keystone. Probably it's better to have one and one different vendors, or two Keystone, but probably one and one is better. And really 5 minutes. There is a air gap. There are two QR codes to be scanned in sequence, and then a third QR code to close the loop. Then the descriptor is going to be generated with the desired time delay. And this descriptor you can have emailed to you in an encrypted file. It will be receive a PDF and a JSON. And then also you can just choose to not receive it and to upload it on the iCloud if you want. And because anyway, it's like a public key, so nothing happens if somebody can see the descriptor, but if you lose it, you lose all your funds. So you need to put the descriptor together with the private keys. So you need to make multiple copies of the descriptor, and where you store your seed phrase or one private key and seed plate, then just put the descriptor together with it. We actually advise to utilize, make a second copy of one of the two keys you have and store in a vault bank. Just let's make the bank useful by just storing the seed. And even if it's not vital because they just have one, so nobody knows what's inside the vault. But still, probably even there in that vault, it's better not to put a descriptor. So the ideal setup is to have your own two keys stored somewhere you control in different geolocation with the two copies of the descriptor, the PDF and the JSON. And you have a copy of one of these two keys in a bank vault without the descriptor. I think it's better this way, because if somebody takes that, I mean, they don't even know what's it's not a key, just one, and they cannot reconstruct anything. They don't know even what wallet you're talking about. But it's still useful to you. So this is very well explained. The BitVault app, we advise on everything, and if you just follow instruction, you know that self-custody is more secure than other custodians, because if you calculate the odds of losing two keys out of four because you made a double copy of one, at the same time, it's like a 1 in 10 billion. It's easier to a custodian going bust than you losing two at the same time out of four. It's possible.
Okay. So you've talked about separating key generation, signing, and broadcast. Why is that isolation so important for real-world resilience?
Yes, because so key generation is vital. It's the moment where everything is at stake. You need to generate the key in a secure environment. Hardware wallet is a secure environment, and let's just put aside the fact that gold card wasn't secure, but the others are. They didn't use the right library everybody's using. So better luck with the other one. But still, in the signing process, then that's a second step of security, where all of the other hardware, software wallet, even collaborative custody, the big names out there, if the signing process flowed and more importantly, the two keys are leaked, then they cannot do anything, prevent the attacker from stealing. You're going to lose your funds. So that's why at the protocol level, we have designed product where you have the priority on top of the user, and this is a solution which there's just us in the market. And you can take advantage of it by just putting with our solution additional layer of security on top of the private keys. And so I always talk about protocol security. You are utilizing protocol security of Bitcoin. It's the best thing you can utilize. And then, this is where security ends, because after transaction goes to mempool, that it's basically nothing you can do. And you can RBF, but it becomes a race. And I think we deliver the best solution at the moment to secure the funds.
Okay, so let's start getting into the cold card hack here. So the recent cold card firmware entropy flaw, it had weak seed generation dating back to 2021 firmware. A lot of people got their Bitcoin drained, shaking a lot of confidence in hardware wallets. What's your analysis of what went wrong on the fundamental level?
Um, was that they utilized the library with just 6 stars on GitHub, and they didn't utilize the standard, the industry standard. That was in my opinion. Then they claimed that the hardware was generating it. It's not true, because there was a mistake. But this library shouldn't have been used. That was it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people they like a common saying in Bitcoin is like don't trust verified, but it gets so into the weeds with compute and coding that like you really do have to make sure that the people that are making the hardware wallets, the people that are helping you self-custody, that they actually are like not having any bugs or uh, chinks in the armor with Bitcoin protection for sure.
Yes, 100%.
And for someone who generated seeds on a cold card or a similar wallet years ago and it's been dormant, what should their immediate or medium term steps be? And how does a time delayed multi-sig vault change the risk profile?
Mhm. Well, if they were vulnerable, most of the coins are taken already. But if you're that lucky that it wasn't taken a single sig, you should have a cold card, single sig, should move it out immediately. If you have a cold card and multi-sig, then ask to reputable people how to move it out, because you should use a slipstream transaction to do that, and it's a bit more complicated. Um, you are at risk if you have all of the cold card as a signing device in the multisig. So the quorum, if the quorum is made by cold card only, then there is a risk. If just one is a cold card, still better to change, but you have some time to set up a new vault and move it with one key. They cannot move the funds. And I think the damage has been made already. It's I don't know how many people have the funds left with the effective entropy. Probably almost nobody anymore.